Hi everyone, welcome to the GrowCast Show, episode 74. I'm Farisha, your host for today, and with me here we have Patrick Loh, emotional healing coach. So how are you today, Patrick?
Great, great to be here. I'm feeling better than normal.
That's great. So which brings me to the question, what does being better than normal means to you?
Well, better than normal, first we need to define what does normal mean, right? Now, the thing is, a lot of times what is accepted by everyone by normal may not be normal. But what is accepted by everyone as normal is common. And because it's common, we think it's normal. And for example, when COVID hit, then we had the new normal, right? And everybody had to adjust to the new normal. But is the new normal really normal? No, it's not. It was not. But we had to accept that as the norm. And so what does better than normal mean? I think it means that we have to realize that what's accepted as normal may not always be normal. It may be subnormal. And so we need to recognize, first of all, what is normal is not normal. And that's how we become better than normal.
Okay, so now, which brings me to the next question still. What makes you then better than normal?
Well, what makes me better than normal is the fact that I don't want to accept the status quo as normal. But that means that I risk the chance of getting misunderstood by others who's following the norm. Because what I do is not common. What I do is uncommon. What I do is not something that most people understand. And the problem with most of us is what we don't understand, we tend to demonize. We tend to discriminate.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And so the fact is, when you want to do something that is different, then that risks getting rejected. And that's being part of me being better than normal, daring to be misunderstood by the rest.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well said. So can you tell me, how did you get started in helping people to heal from their emotional pain?
Well, it happened when I had a devastating breakup years ago in 2018. I was about to get married and it just didn't work out.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And it was a very painful experience. And I was getting like suicidal thoughts. I was getting images of wanting to hurt myself. And so that led me to a path where I was trying to find what is there out there to heal my heart. And in the process of finding, then I discovered there are like literally thousands of healing modalities out there that deal with just healing the mind, the body. And I began to just find out more. Yeah, that just led me to a path where I started exploring, experimenting, healing myself and healing others.
So basically it started with you.
It started with me. Yeah.
What is one thing you wish you did earlier in your personal healing journey?
It started off when actually I was working with a therapist. He is an EMDR therapist.
What does EMDR means?
Eye movement desensitization reprocessing. Yeah. So my therapist made me hold on to a device that would pulse on my hands.
Right.
Yeah, on my palms. And and that would basically help my brain to reprocess trauma, emotions. It was incredible because within the first 2 sessions, the suicidal thoughts went away. Yeah, and I remember I was at my 10th session, and my therapist asked me, I can see that you are in a lot of pain. Would you like me to help you desensitize the painful memories you have of your ex?
Wow.
And I sat there across the table. I looked at him and I said, no.
You said no, you refused.
Yes, because I felt that I want to keep the love I had of my ex. And I thought at that time that if I desensitize those memories, I will lose that love. But I was wrong.
Okay.
Because I have mixed, I thought that pain and the love have to go together, but that's not true. And so what I wish I did earlier was I wish I had the courage to let go of my pain.
Means to actually say yes to your therapy.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. So how does your approach differ from the traditional talk therapy?
Well, talk therapy, right? One way of looking at it is like a garden, and there's so many weeds. And so you start pulling out the weeds one by one. And you start talking about the past, and you just pull out the weeds one by one, but there's so many. What I do, my approach is basically you just dig up the whole soil and change the whole soil, because I work with the nervous system and the unconscious mind. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is like a washing machine. And then you are putting the dirty water in, and the dirty clothes in, and the water is churning.
Yeah.
But the pipe is not really out. The dirty water is not really going out. So it's just going in the washing machine over and over again. You talk through your pain, you talk through the trauma, session after session after session, and the dirty water is still in there. It's not coming out because the washing machine is actually your body.
Right.
Yeah, and all that trapped energy is staying there.
So that's what talk therapy does, you feel?
No, it's helpful, but it's slower.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is one thing that most people don't realize about emotional healing?
Now, emotional healing is not just emotional.
Okay.
Yeah. Emotional healing is really holistic healing, because your emotions impact your thoughts, your beliefs, your perspective, your paradigms, your values.
Right.
It energizes everything. Your emotions energizes everything. And so what we believe is energized by how we feel. The things we value and the values we hold, we feel strongly about. And that is true for positive emotions and negative emotions. Yeah. And so it impacts everything. It impacts our head, and it impacts our body. And so when we heal our emotions, we heal our whole being and our whole life. So emotional healing is really holistic healing.
How does the body affect emotions?
How does the body affect emotions? Well, in traditional Chinese medicine, our organs and our emotions are closely tied together. Yeah. For example, energetic blockage in our lungs causes grief. Energetic blockage in our liver causes anger. That's why alcoholics, they get angry easily. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Energetic blockage in our kidneys and in our bladders can cause fear. And that's why if someone is really very frightened, he pees in his pants.
Okay.
Right? So it's all connected.
You mentioned it does. Come to think of it, it
Yeah.
does. So what role does the nervous system play in emotional healing?
Yeah.
The nervous system.
Yeah. So one thing we need to understand is that our brain is actually part of our nervous system. Yeah. And our nervous system is the channel where our brain and body communicate to each other. Right? And our nervous system is really electric signals. Yeah. Yeah. So our body is actually electrical in nature. Yeah. And so when we get stressed, that's like a switch. Our nervous system goes into fight and flight mode. It's called the sympathetic nervous system. And everything in our body shrinks, gets tense. Our body literally shrinks. And everything tenses up. And vice versa, when our emotions are relaxed, everything in our body expands. It's called the parasympathetic nervous system. It's the rest, relax, digest mode. It's a switch. And when we are hurt, what happens is our nervous system gets dysregulated. Yeah. And we can get stuck in the fight, flight, or even freeze mode. Yeah. And so by resetting our nervous system and then regulating our nervous system, we free up our body to release all the trapped emotions that has been stuck there week after week, month after month, year after year.
That sounds like a lot of science in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your personal go-to technique for immediate emotional relief?
Yeah. So I like to combine principles together. So I like to combine, for example, acupressure, meridians, meridian simulations, and I like to combine it with bilateral brain stimulation. So what's the difference? So in traditional Chinese medicine, different meridians in your body. When you get stressed, the meridians get blocked, right? So I can just stimulate just different points on my body by just tapping on it. Yeah. So for example, this down here is my lung meridian. Down here is my pericardium.
That's your left hand, right?
It doesn't matter which hand. Down here is my heart. So if I tap on these 3 points, just like that, I'm stimulating my heart, my pericardium, my lung. So lung is great for stimulating lung is great for releasing grief.
Okay.
Yeah. And heart is great for restoring from shock. Right?
All right.
Yeah. So just by doing this, it helps to release negative emotions. And if I do it both hands and switch, that is bilateral brain stimulation. Right?
We learn something new every day.
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah. So that's this bilateral brain stimulation, and your left, right brain will start to connect together. right?
Wow.
For trauma to be released in greater effectiveness. So I like to combine principles.
So it works. You feel it works?
Yeah, I just did this with someone. I was at a wake yesterday. I visited a friend, and just by tapping on these 3 points, help her to release some of her grief and sadness, and she felt better. Yeah, immediately in 5 minutes.
No, I should do it next time.
Yeah,
Tapping the
try it.
different points, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that tip. So, how do you address the root rather than just symptoms in your practice?
Yeah. So, the good thing about engaging the nervous system, like what I did, is a lot of times the root issue will just pop up by itself. Yeah. So, for example, years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I was at a breakfast table, and I asked my friend, "You want to get some coffee?" We were at the hotel, right? So coffee was free anyway. Yeah. And he said, "I love the taste of coffee, but I can't drink it because every time I drink it, I will get diarrhea." Right?
Yeah, I've heard that for some people, yes.
Yeah, and so I started tapping with him and just expressing out, "Oh, it's so frustrating. I love the taste of coffee, but every time I drink coffee, I get diarrhea." And halfway through, maybe just a few minutes or 5 minutes through, something popped up in his head. He said, "Oh, I remembered when I was young, I had this aunt, and she was just so mean and so verbally abusive to me, and I hated her, and she loved coffee."
And that's why he rejected coffee because of that.
So it's not he that rejected coffee. Consciously, he did not reject coffee, but his unconscious mind rejected coffee. His unconscious mind connected coffee with abuse. Yeah. So his body was rejecting coffee, not him.
Okay.
And so I spent another few minutes just processing with the tapping and mentioning about his feelings to the aunt. 1 week later, he said, "Oh, I can drink coffee without diarrhea anymore." And recently, it's 5-6 years later, I asked him, "How is it?" And he said, "Yes, ever since then, I drink coffee and it's fine. Like 90% of the time, I'm fine." And that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's good
because that is, I just spent like maybe 10 to 15 minutes, right, and healed him
Sort
of a lifetime
yeah.
of diarrhea from coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So, what's the number one biggest myth about emotional healing you encounter in your work?
What's the number one biggest myth about? Well, a lot of people and a lot of therapists think that in order to heal, you need to forgive. You need to first forgive.
Yeah, we hear that a lot, yes.
Yeah. That's only partially true. Yeah. So the problem is a lot of people are so hurt that they, even when they want to forgive, they can't. Because it's too painful. And so they can verbally say it with their mouth, but their hearts cannot agree and their bodies cannot agree. So I got I had this case where this lady, she needed help and I helped her process her pain. And again, it didn't take long. As far as I remember, it just took 15 minutes. Yep. And again, with engaging a nervous system and her unconscious mind, I led her to release all the pain that she felt from all the hurt from her husband. I think she had some betrayal experience. Yeah. So a few months later, she saw me face to face and she said, "Oh, I want to thank you. Because for years, I was doing all sorts of processes, like trying to forgive my husband, like just verbally saying things out and just trying to say the right things and to forgive him. But the pain was always there. But when you did that process with me, I was no longer in pain.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so even though many times forgiveness may be the key to healing, but yet the reverse is also true, that healing is a starting point for someone to have the ability to forgive. That forgiveness is also the fruit of healing.
Forgiveness is the fruit of healing.
Yeah.
Right. What have your clients taught you about the nature of healing?
What I learned is I can get very surprising results. There are many side bonuses when you experience healing. One interesting side bonus is financial blessings. Yeah. So I got this one case. This guy had a lot of trauma, family trauma. So I did with him a few sessions. Then after that, maybe a few years later, maybe 2-3 years later, he signed. I met him again, and he said, after those few sessions, that next 1 year, I started to have a lot of tutoring sessions, and he basically that 1 year he made over $100,000. Right?
Wow.
Before that, he was financially very tight. Yeah. So yeah.
So somehow the universe just aligned and it just came his way.
There's another lady. She had a session with me, and she didn't really enjoy that session, some parts of it, because she had to deal with the trauma. Okay. But after that, she was telling me that the next few months, there's money coming in everywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah, in different ways.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so I've encountered a couple of these. Yeah. Just after the sessions, they randomly, have some financial breakthrough. Yeah, unexplainable financial breakthrough.
What role does the subconscious mind plays in healing?
Well, the subconscious mind actually is part of us, and the unconscious mind wants to protect us. Yeah. And so there is always an unconscious payoff. That means there is something that the unconscious mind thinks will benefit us by doing what it does. And so for example, like the coffee diarrhea example, by rejecting the coffee is an unconscious mind's intention to reject the abuse, because it has associated coffee with abuse. So the unconscious mind is always trying to protect us. But the problem is, a lot of times, that unconscious payoff is no longer working for us. Instead of benefiting us, is actually sabotaging us. Yeah. So it's like your overprotective mom. Yeah. Trying to protect you from boyfriends that are no good for you. Right?
Right. All right. Thanks for the sharing, Patrick. It's a wrap up now for part 1 of episode 74. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to part 2 of episode 74, still with Patrick. Right, Patrick. So moving on to part 2, my next question would be, there is a common saying that time heals wound. So why can't someone just wait it out, wait for healing to take place instead of coming to you?
Yeah, this is a common saying, time heals all wounds. The truth is, time doesn't heal all wounds. Time buries all wounds. But whatever you bury, you carry. It stays inside you. And when you bury your wound, you bury your pain, you can become numb to your pain. But it doesn't mean it's not there. It's like an infection deep inside you, festering, growing over time. Like cancer growing within a body for years without the person knowing it.
Okay.
But it comes out in a different form, in a different way. It can come out in physical symptoms. It will come up in the form of a different relationship as it goes to haunt you. Yeah.
So what kind of issues do you help your clients with?
Well, over the years, I've helped different people with different issues. With anger management, phobia, a lot of childhood trauma, relationship issues, heartbreak, grief, loss of a loved one. So many different issues. But what I find very common is in most of them, there is the element of childhood trauma, which is really a form of relationship trauma. Yeah.
What's the difference between grief and trauma?
What's the difference between grief and trauma? Well, grief is a stress response to experiencing a loss. Usually we think of a loss of a dear one, whether it be a breakup or a death, but it can be also loss of finances, but grief of some form, losing something that's dear to you. Trauma is the stress response of experiencing a shock, a threat, a danger, something that's very overwhelming. Yeah. So I would describe grief as a river that needs to flow out. Yeah. But trauma is like a frozen lake. Everything is stuck there. Yeah. And it's trapped. Yeah.
What role does a person's family play in healing?
Well, your family is like an original garden where your emotional patterns first take root. And the way your family handles emotions, conflicts, relationships, it influences your emotional landscape today. And so think of your emotional patterns as plants that were first seeded in your family garden. Yeah. And so these are really generational patterns, because what we inherit generational beliefs, generational trauma, generational emotional pain. And so our family really affects us a lot. And the way we heal ourselves is to deal with those generational patterns. Yeah.
What changes do clients typically notice after their first session with you?
A lot of times, many times during a session, I would actually feel a shift inside my body, and I work with clients mainly through Zoom. Some of them are like overseas, like in UK, in China, in Hong Kong, in America, and I can feel the shift as I'm working with them during the session, and then I'll stop and pause and I'll ask, did something happen right there? Did you feel something? And many times they will say yes. Yeah, they will say, oh, I feel suddenly lighter. You know, I feel a wave of energy just flow through me. Yeah. And yeah, many times they would feel like an energetic shift. It would be something that is almost tangible.
So this is something that they notice on the first session itself, yeah?
Yeah.
So as your client starts healing, how do their relationship change?
Well, there was one case where there was this gentleman who asked me to take a look at his 12-year-old daughter. So I went to the house with some of my friends. And the 12-year-old daughter wouldn't look at us, right? They had 3 kids. The 12-year-old daughter was the oldest. The 2 kids like would interact with us. The 12-year-old daughter would be like just sitting at the corner, right? And so I said to the gentleman, let me speak to your wife alone. So I spent 45 minutes with his wife in the children's room where their 3 kids sleep. And then I just processed with her for 45 minutes. At the end of that, I said to her, as you heal, your family will heal. Yeah. After that, I spent another 45 minutes with the gentleman. And then at the end of that, I said, you are the head of the house. This is what I told your wife. As you heal, your family will heal, but more so, you. Right?
The husband himself.
Yes. And so throughout the entire time, I did not get to speak to the daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. So the daughter is the one that is supposed to be problematic. So what happened was the very next day, for the very first time after more than a year, the daughter greeted them good morning at the breakfast table.
Next day itself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the gentleman, he started reporting that, his daughter started behaving better. His wife started behaving better. Yeah, and that went on for he was reporting for 5 weeks.
How do you define relationship trauma?
Well, relationship trauma is basically a deep emotional wound that you experience in a relationship, something that is very intense. And there are basically 5 core wounds of a relationship trauma. It can be abandonment, can be betrayal, can be humiliation, injustice, or guilt.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is very common, especially in childhood trauma, which is a form of relationship trauma. Yeah, a lot of times it's just one of these 5. Yeah, and it deeply wounds a person. Yeah.
Then what happens when relationship trauma isn't addressed?
When relationship trauma isn't addressed, again, it is like a wound that is buried and you carry it over time. And like when you sustain a physical injury, you might not notice it in the beginning, but after like many years, your knees will start to act up and start to give way. But that's because of the years of neglect that you didn't realize the wound was there. Yeah, and it affects every area of your life, physically, mentally, emotionally. Yeah, in your relationships, in your finances. Yeah.
What changes first when someone starts healing relationship trauma?
What changes first is themselves, a sense of who they are. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because a lot of times, what relationship trauma does to us, it shapes how we see ourselves. It begins to shape the story we tell ourselves about our situations, and begins to shape the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. But if we change the story that we tell ourselves about ourselves, we begin to change the way we see ourselves.
That's deep.
Yeah.
What is a common thing that clients usually say after a first session with you?
Well, a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, Patrick, you articulated all the emotions I felt that I couldn't say it out. I couldn't articulate by myself. They were all there, but I just didn't have the words for it. And you helped me get it all out."
They were unable to, but you helped them out. Right.
Yeah.
So tell me about a client transformation that really stands out to you.
Well, maybe 2 months ago, I met this lady and she had psoriasis. I think it's either eczema or psoriasis, right? But bad skin breakouts, right? And so I mentioned the word trauma and I see her flinch. And I asked, what do you think of? And she said, oh, when she was 4 year old, 4 year old, she was in a train and there was a stranger trying to take her away. And so we dealt with that. She had tears running down her cheeks. And I said, what's different before and after? And she said, before, when you asked me to think about it, I was seeing it through the 4-year-old lenses. Yeah, I could see through her eyes. But now when I think of it, I see it as a movie scene, right? And I don't feel that fear. And then I asked her, when did your skin breakouts happen? She said about 4 years ago, when I was facing the divorce, was going through divorce. And I said, it's the divorce that was causing you a lot of stress. And she said, actually it's the financial uncertainty. I didn't know where money was going to come from. And so I processed with her that. And again, she has tears streaming down her cheeks. And then a month later, she texted me and said, her skin is a lot better, much manageable. The breaks out is a lot less intense, a lot less. Yeah.
Wow. So that's pretty recent, huh?
Yeah.
That's something that stands out. How do you help someone who has lost their identity in relationships?
You see, when two people get together, especially like a romantic relationship, it's like two different blocks of color scene, like one lump of blue Play-Doh, one lump of red Play-Doh. You mash them together, you mix them together, and soon you can't differentiate the blue from the red. It's all lumped together.
Yes.
Yeah, that's enmeshment that happens in very intense, intimate relationships. Yeah. And so the process of working with the nervous system and the unconscious mind is that process where you are able to pull the blue out from the red and the red out from the blue. Yeah, that's as far as I can think of it. Yeah.
How do you ensure that breakthroughs the client's experience are lasting and permanent?
Well, the latest neuroscience, we are talking about the mind being neuroplastic, that we can actually change it, right? Previously, we think that after a certain age, our minds are fixed. Yeah. And there's this concept of memory reconsolidation. What's memory reconsolidation? Well, think of your mind like a library. Yeah. Imagine your memories are like books in a vast library. Every emotional memory is like a story written in permanent ink, right? Stored in shelves of your mind, right? And so traditional therapy is just reading out these painful stories from the books over and over again, hoping to understand the stories and make sense of my pain so I can learn from my pain, right? But memory reconsolidation is like rewriting the process. And the library is not on books. It's in digital form. Now it's on Google Docs, it's on editable PDFs. So you can actually go into these digital books and you can change the content of what's written there. That's memory reconsolidation. And after you change it, you save it, and then that change becomes permanent. That's memory reconsolidation.
So that's the one that gives the lasting and permanent effect, yeah? Okay, next question. Now this is pretty alarming. 48% of first marriages end in divorce. 56% of second marriages end in divorce. 78% of third marriages end in divorce. Why does this happen? I mean, numbers are pretty big, so...
Yeah, so you would think that, the more marriages I go in, I should be more experienced. And so I should get it better the next time.
Yeah.
Right? But statistics show, no, it's the opposite. The more experience I have, the worse the worse I get at it. Right? So the problem is because when many times people exit out of a relationship, I carry with the relationship. I exit with the relationship baggage. Then I bring into the second marriage.
Yes.
Baggage from the first relationship. That doesn't work. Now I bring baggage from my first marriage, second marriage, into my third marriage. So all these baggages, right? And the problem is people tend to be hoarders. I don't know about you. I do have a problem about hoarding, in my house. Yeah, so my room can be so messy because everything I want to keep. Yeah, I don't want to throw, right? But what happens when you don't want to throw in your heart? Your heart becomes so full of unnecessary baggage. There is no room for new love. And so it's so important to be intentional about clearing all that emotional baggage in the heart.
Decluttering to make space.
Yeah. Marie Kondo your heart.
Marie Kondo.
Yeah.
Con Marie. Yes. Okay. But yeah, the statistics is pretty alarming. It's quite scary,
Yeah.
So, now, what is one book that you recommend to read about the mind-body connection?
Yeah. One classic book is called The Body Keeps the Score. Yeah.
One Body Keeps the Score.
No, The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The body keeps the score of what's going on. It keeps all the trauma. It keeps all the painful memories. And it's written by Bessel von der Klock. And he talks about the latest neuroscience research, all the clinical studies. And there are a lot of stories inside to illustrate also how it really works. It's not a technical read. It's pretty easy, but it's a long read. It's like over 400 pages. Yeah. So, but it's a classic. Yeah. If you want to understand how trauma is trapped in the body, that is the go-to book. Yeah.
For sure, we'll look it up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Patrick.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that insightful sharing.
Yeah.
And we hope with this, it will help more people out there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And with that, it's a wrap to this episode. Now do tune in for the next one. Thank you.